Hello and welcome to Brewskis and Housekeys. I am Nicole Kostelecki.
And I am Nick Papantanakis.
And we are here at Remax Alliance in Old Town, Arvada, enjoying some beers and going to give you a nice, lovely market update. The first one of 2024.
That's right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We should toast to that. It is the New Year. There's still time.
There's still time.
You could add it in right now, and everyone will think that it was intentional. Yep. Totally planned. Were you gonna spray us with real champagne?
That would have been funny.
I'm okay without the champagne.
I'm okay with that.
That works. Yeah. Maybe you can just have it falling
things?
off right now.
Yeah.
I'll see what we can do. Gosh.
Nice.
Well, it is. It's a new year. We're excited to talk about, I guess, it's probably more so December stats than anything else, but just maybe kind of I would love to do a little quick recap of last year too. But first of all, how were the holidays?
It was great for me. Spent a lot of times hanging out with the fam. Made it up to South Dakota.
All the nieces and nephews?
No.
Okay.
Just my younger sisters.
Okay.
So one niece was there. But we did a lot. We did some ice fishing, and that was the first time I've ever ice fished.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why that surprises me.
Hut?
Well, we didn't have one.
Oh,
but no, we did. Let me go back. We did have one. We chose not to put it up because it was very sunny.
Oh.
The first day was cold.
Okay.
We went out way too late, like kind of right around sunset time, and so I was freezing. Yeah, but the other 2 days we went, it was really sunny. And it was actually quite warm.
Did you catch anything?
I personally didn't. It was like guys 7, girls 0.
Oh, no.
It was really sad.
Darn it.
I know. But
What do you, was it up in South Dakota?
It was in South Dakota, yeah.
What do you catch, or what do they catch?
So little perch. So those are really pretty small. Caught a few of those. And then a couple people caught trout, which... There's one about like this big and one about that big, I'd say. So pretty good size.
That's good
we
size.
threw them all back. And then the other one, which we didn't know was in this lake, was a baby northern pike, which I don't know that I like to know that it's in that lake because in the summer we swim there all the time.
And pikes get rather large.
Well, they have very sharp teeth.
And sharp teeth. And they can get big, right? Am I making that up?
They can. I don't know if it would get pretty big in that lake because it's not exactly
true.
huge. But, I mean, the pike is pretty good size. But it was, they're bony and not exactly, unless they're big, really big, I think that's when they're good to eat. But other than that, I think when the little ones are so bony, you can't really get much meat out of them. I think the trout are a little better if you're going to eat them.
Trouts, like rainbow trouts, what you catch here more than anything else.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Pike also have barbed gills.
Yeah.
So you can't hold them like that.
Yeah.
You have to hold them by the head and tail.
Right.
Can I tell you that I have one major phobia in this life? Truthfully, I'm not scared of a whole lot of things.
Getting bit by a fish.
It's
on your
legitimately
toe?
more so than anything else. It's having things under the water under me that I can't see.
Yeah.
So like the ocean, lake, I don't care. It bothers the living crap out
I
of me.
could see that because if I go down that road and start thinking about it, then I understand. But usually I don't.
I do before I even look at the water. I think about it. Like I lived in San Diego for 5 years and I did not enjoy going to the beach.
Did you ever go surfing?
Yes. And
you didn't
frightened
like
me.
it? Really? I love
frightened
it.
me.
See, I forget about like that
That's good.
when I'm out
You're
there.
normal. I'm weird. I'm meant for the mountains.
it's
That's what I always tell
okay.
people. Like, they can have the ocean. I'll take the mountain.
Yeah.
Give me mountain lions.
Well,
give me
there's
bears.
bears.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's nice and clear.
Yeah. Well,
Done
you
that.
can see.
And that even
You're
gave me
okay?
like
Low anxiety.
heart palpitations. I was younger. I was like 17, and I was down at the Great Barrier Reef in Australia,
Oh,
of all
wow.
places.
Cool.
And this is just how cool I am too. I got seasick on the ferry ride out there. So everybody else on the trip was already out snorkeling, and I was kind of coming to after like being up and like falling
Going
asleep,
over the board.
waking up, throwing up,
Yeah.
falling asleep, whatever. And so I'm finally up, like somewhat alert. I had a little something to eat, some water. And so I got in the water with everybody else and snorkeled around for a little bit, but I wasn't completely like there. So I kept drinking seawater. It was just a bad. So no, I don't like it.
Oh my God.
I'm a hot
I am
mess.
complete opposite. If I could live by the ocean, I would.
There we go. See, everybody, that's most normal people, I think. My wife misses it. She's from California. She loves the beach.
I think you have half and half. Like, I think there are a lot of people that are mountain people and don't like the ocean.
I am embracing this as the support group outreach. If you are that person, call me. It's okay. We're out there. We're weirdos and we get scared by the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the water, but
it's under
what's unknown, man?
Under the sea.
Come on. Even like those scenes in Star Wars where like in Empire Strikes Back where R2-D2 falls in the water when they land on Dagobah. I'm sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole. And he falls in the water and then that thing goes right behind him and takes him under. I'm like, that's awful. I hate it. That poor droid.
that's exactly what's going through your head.
Yes. That's what I think about. And maybe it scarred me when I was a kid. That's where it came from. That's got to be it. I'm sweating right now thinking about it. Oh,
it makes me want to go on a beach vacation.
See, I'm glad I could do that for you. That's great.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. What about you? How was your guys'
It was good. We did what I'm starting to call the classic Papantanakis thing right before Christmas, and that is getting some sort of illness. 2 years ago, well,
that stinks.
2021, it was COVID. We got COVID 3 days before Christmas. 2022, it was right after Christmas. We were out visiting my wife's family in California, and my wife, daughter, and mother-in-law all got stomach flu for 3 days. They were down with stomach bug. And then this year, we all got the stomach bug a few days before Christmas. So,
oh, man.
Did
you eat okay?
I don't know. We just don't wash our hands ever, and then we
Then that should build your immune system.
We usually eat raw chicken wings too. I don't know if that's normal, but
right out of the package.
Yeah, you just dip them in sauce and go. Right, it saves time.
See, I remember in college, like I would get sick right after finals, and I think it's because I like put all my energy into it. Was like, don't get sick yet. Just my body like would hold it off, and then right after it never failed. Like I was always sick, but then I was fine in time for the holidays.
Well, and that could have been it for Jeannie.
And that's what I was thinking, because if Jane maybe.
Yeah, both of them. Because like Jeannie, I mean, she was so focused on just getting through the school end of school year or whatever, into the first part of the year, and getting into it was the 15th was the last day, and like by the 20th, we had all at least gotten sick once. And I usually don't get sick, especially from the time working in the restaurants. Now, it happens more frequently. I think it's because I'm not around as many people. Like I was touching people's dirty plates and like all kinds of stuff in the restaurant. So like I think my immune system was
You're doing a nice sanitary job now.
Yeah. But I don't want to mar the whole holiday season, because that little chunk of time aside, we actually had a really good time. We didn't go anywhere this time. We got to stay home. We got to see my folks. My sister and her husband came up with their little baby and their 4-year-old, so we got to spend time with them.
You went to the Broncos game on Christmas Eve.
We did do that thing. That was funny because Jeannie and I were back to normal, but my sister and her husband were getting over RSV. I mean, she works at a hospital, so they're sick all the time.
Yeah.
But they were getting over RSV, so everybody was just kind of like there, but like
not cheering very
physically
loud.
present, but that was about it, because everybody was just like, ugh. And I think between the four of us, we had a collective 3 beers all night.
And it was cold. It was cold too that day.
Yeah.
That was
very
a cold game.
But on the upside, the seats we sat in, right over my right shoulder, was a nice man named Peyton Manning, who was very friendly with all the people in front of him. So got to see him up front. He is a large human. He's a very big man.
Awesome.
What is he, 6'6"?
I don't know, 6'5" maybe. But I mean, I know everybody jokes about his forehead, but his head is really big. It's just really big. And then he is really big. Like he's just a big guy. I don't know why I didn't expect him.
Keep all that football knowledge, you know?
I'd say 100%. I mean, it's all in there because he's a lot smarter than most of those guys. It was a fun game to watch. Obviously, Broncos season.
Yeah, it came to a close.
Is what it is.
Yesterday.
Is how I'll put it.
Maybe next year.
What was the best beer you drank over the holidays?
Ooh, actually, this is going to be taboo to say this. It was my sister and brother-in-law's Oktoberfest.
That they made?
Yep.
Nice.
Delicious beer. So Tina, I know you're listening. You guys knocked it out of the park. It was so good.
Way to go, Tina.
Yeah, they do they are head and shoulders above anything I'll ever be as far as a home brewer. They're so good at it. And,
that's awesome.
Man, they make good stuff. I love it.
Decemberfest.
Yep. I think it was carryover because it was ready in like early November.
Oh, okay.
But they just had enough of it left. They brought some with them. So
lucky you.
Yeah.
It pays to know
How
people.
about you? What was the best beer you had?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Did you go to any new breweries?
No new breweries. We went to a couple breweries in South Dakota, and they have good beers there. So Miners local. We should bring them.
I was going to say, next time you go.
There's this one called Miners Alley that's really good. See, it's kind of hard to find actually good breweries up there. Some are good, and some are kind of not as good. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like anywhere. We have a great microbrews. Like,
we are pretty lucky with that. Yeah.
Here. We have so many good beers.
Very true.
But up there, my two favorite breweries are Miners Alley, which is in Hill City, and then the other one is in Rapid, and it is called Lost Cabin. And Lost Cabin's by far my favorite. They have great IPAs.
It's worthwhile, even if you're in a beer town.
One called So Dank. Like S-O, So Dank.
Oh, I get it. South Dakota.
Yeah.
I get it. It's worth it, though, because like even around here, we have, like you said, we're really lucky. Mm-hmm. But there are little breweries that people have never heard of that are sometimes the best ones.
Yeah,
and it was that way in San Diego, too. Like, we felt that way. We had a couple that we would go to that were so unheard of, but we loved it when we lived there. Like, we loved going to those ones because the beer was just so good. And
good homey atmosphere and nice and cozy.
And they take pride in their beer. Like, everybody obviously tries to take pride in their beer, but you could tell it was just like, man, I just like drinking this beer. And it's probably the feeling you get to or whatever being there. But
speaking of which,
little hometown favorite.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
And that was all you. You led me right to it.
It was a team effort. That's right. Nico helped too. He was there.
Yeah. So today we are drinking Mountain Toad Brewing, which is one of my faves.
Because?
Well, I used to go there a lot in college.
You sure did, because it's located in Golden, Colorado.
Yep. Golden, Colorado. It's right off like 9th and Washington. So right as you kind of come into town. And you can't miss it. They have a big mural just on the side of the building. And
I think there's a toad on a bike.
I think so.
And it's like an orange building, but it's a really cool mural. And I've been there once and prior to this. And I just remember really enjoying their beers. And then we were talking about like, what's a good brewery that not a lot of people maybe have heard of. And I think this Mountain Toad definitely checks the box. So their beer itself is really delicious. I think they're creative.
They are creative. Their beer is good. It's a cool atmosphere in there, and they have a nice big old patio too. And it's just kind of, I like going there because they've been there for quite a while. And then now, like, other breweries kind of formed around them and other newer places and stuff. So it's good to go back to that place. I just like going there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very creative. What are you drinking?
So this is their Fermi IPA. This one comes in at, I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it's 6.2%. This is an IPA made with Saison yeast. So I have a love-hate relationship with Saison-style beer myself. My first ones I ever had, I kind of felt like something was wrong with it just by like the funk taste that it had to it a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of tastes like artificial bananas at first.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, like the Runts candy.
But what it is exactly? But what it is actually.
I never.
Yeah.
Can you work that in too? Because that's exactly what it tastes like.
It is, and that's why I never liked wits or saisons or anything. But it's actually the cloves that cause that taste. That's what they use. And most saisons and wits, they have like cloves in them.
Yeah.
And so, but that is really cool because I've never seen like what did you say it's brewed with?
It's an IPA brewed with Saison yeast. So it brings out those flavors because the yeast, I've learned this much, and this is a little bit, but not much about it. It's just in my time brewing at home and stuff. But like the yeast is what brings out a lot of the flavor. Not all of it, but that's where a lot of the flavor comes from. So that like banana-y thing going on or whatever. And so an IPA traditionally has a lot of that hop forwardness to it. This is like a very low IBU, which means it's got very low bitterness to it. And so you don't get a lot of IPA kick in the teeth, but you also don't get it like that overwhelming, I call it funk or whatever you want to call it, from a Saison. It's very
just say cloves. Cloves is
it's
better.
In between. The overwhelming cloves.
Yeah.
It is. It's almost like a hybrid. And that's how the guy at the brewery described it too, is like if you don't like Saisons, you might like this one. And I was like, I love this one. It's delicious. So
that's some beer biology, right?
Dude.
Yeah. Can I try that one?
Education. Yeah. To have another revisit. because it was pretty good. They had some really creative stuff on. They had
That is delicious.
I'm telling you.
I like that one a lot.
Me too. They had a double that they made with like date syrup and clove and cinnamon and stuff in there. And then they have their flagship line, which includes.
So the one that I am drinking is called the White Ranch Wheat. So this one has White Ranch Wit.
It's a sobriety test. You have to say it 5 times fast.
You try it.
White Ranch Wit, White Ranch Wit, White
That
Ranch Wit.
was pretty good. Anyway, so this one was one of their flagships, and I love it. So I used to not like Saisons or Wits, but this is what actually turned me on to them, was because they are just really delicious. And they put different flavors in them, and I think it's because you can kind of distinguish the flavors as opposed to just tasting like artificial bananas.
Well, and that's important because when I was there today,
good. It's really good.
And this is before we started recording. I told Nicole I had a secret to reveal to her. This is, excuse me, not earth-shattering, but I want to share it anyway. I got there today to order these, and I asked for that one right up front. He goes, you know what you want? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I started looking through the menu for the other beer we were going to try, and he goes, well, why'd you choose that one? I said, actually, a friend of mine, we do this podcast. It's pretty cool. You should check it out, which he did. So thank you, Jeff, for subscribing. Yep. And I explained your love for that beer from your time at Mines, and he goes, well, don't tell her until after she tries it, but we changed the recipe.
I was curious.
He said that they used to have honey and lemon in the recipe as well, but the sugars from that drove the alcohol content higher than they liked it. So they removed those.
It was quite high, if I remember.
So this is like
have one or two.
As I don't remember. So this is under 6% now.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas I don't know where it was before because I didn't ask, but
it was kind of one of those that it said it was like 6.5 or whatever, but it tasted it tastes like 8. I don't know.
Like, that's a heavy 6.5.
You're like, do they really check this, or are these numbers made up? I don't know.
Oh, it's funny. So that's the stories. They removed those ingredients, and he said, I want to see if she notices or doesn't like it, even if she does notice. So, but I still think that's a good wit. I don't like wit.
I think it still actually tastes.
It's crisp.
Gosh, I feel like it's been 3 years since I've had this.
Well, see,
but I feel like it still tastes delicious.
Great.
Yeah. And it's still a drinkable wit, which, like you said, it doesn't have that artificially whatever you want to call it, flavor.
Yeah, well, it's good. It is clovey, and it's like spicy kind of, very smooth, and just a flavorful beer. It's really good.
Yeah, it's tasty. And that's not high on my list of types of beers that I go after either. So,
but you said this.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed. I mean, I only, like I said, I've been there once, and so I was really impressed with. I didn't taste that one before, but I tasted this one and the date one, and I was like, dude, I need to come back.
Done.
Gotta come back. Good job, Mountain Toad.
Yeah. I guess real quick, if you do go back, I mean, they have a lot of things going on. They'll do live music every once in a while, and then also this I thought was really cool. First and third Thursdays of every month, they do a cheese and beer tasting. And it changes, and it's, And
they partner with a place that's local to Golden called the Cheese Ranch. Yep. And I want to give them a shout out too, because my father and mother discovered them a few months back. They're obsessed with the Cheese Ranch.
Well, you should take them.
They go there all the time.
Really?
They do. They love it.
You should take them to a cheese pairing.
That'd be so much fun. They would love that.
There you go.
And my wife would love that.
Yeah.
Does Carla drink beer?
Yeah.
I think you can still do the cheese pairing, though, it said, without necessarily pairing it with the beers if you don't want. Like, you could just do a cheese tasting. It said, like, I think $11 for the cheese tasting, and then you could add on for the beers. So if you just did the cheese tasting, maybe she'd like that.
She would. She would probably have, like, she might like that. Something light she likes, and then small quantities. She can't drink. She doesn't like a whole pint of beer. Wine, different story. But
Chardonnay.
Give her a good Malbec. She won't say no. That's for sure.
Yeah,
can't blame her.
That's funny.
But that would be fun. That's a good idea. I told Dad that after I got there. I was like, guess what? They highly feature the Cheese Ranch. He goes, what?
Yeah,
that's right, buddy.
Very cool.
So yeah, love this beer. Good job, Mountain Toad. Shout out. You guys crushed it.
Yep. Well done. I'm glad we did them. That was great.
Me too. Good way to start the year.
Heck yeah. Well, why don't we dive in?
Let's go.
All right.
Numbers time.
Numbers time. So we're going to go over the stats from December of 2023. Just kind of give you guys the rundown. So the average price of the home in the Denver metro area for both residential, so single family and attached, was $600,057, and that was a 0.51 in decrease from November. The median price for residential homes was $551,000, and that was a 2.8% decrease from November prices. So kind of splitting that up for detached homes, the median price for a single family was $613,500. Also a decrease from November by 2.08%. And then for attached homes, the median price was $418,701. So that was actually a little bit of an increase, just tiny bit, by 0.41% from November close prices. So overall, for the most part, it was kind of decreasing, staying kind of steady as well. But that is pretty normal during the December months when everyone is celebrating the holidays. And then lastly, so the median price of a residential home in December of 2023 was down by 0.54% compared to December of 2022. So I just think that's an interesting number to look at, just year over year, how the prices have kind of stabilized, I feel like, over this last year in 2023. Just that they haven't really, it wasn't that huge jump that we have seen. Well,
and that shock value, I think, wore off because if you remember, December of 22 was right in the thick of people being shocked by the interest rate spike. I mean, they were just floored. Everyone was jumping out of the market.
They were used to 3%, and then it went up to more like.
By December, it was probably close to 7. I think. I think it
was quite that high, but right around like 6 or so.
Which was a shock to their systems. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad rate in all reality, but it's hard to go from 3 to 6 to watch it double. That obviously does a lot to your payments. So I think you're right. I think that now the shock of that has worn off a little bit, and actually, as we'll talk about, rates are starting to they've kind of hit that peak, and they're starting to taper down a little bit now as we head into the new year. So I think that there's I think it's just a little bit more normalized for people. So I think that that's probably part of that decrease is, with those rates going up, it was scary for a lot of people.
Right.
I think also mortgage lenders were able to react and come up with their new products. Like in 2023, I saw several new products come out to help buyers.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's another helpful thing I noticed throughout 2023.
Yeah, and that's a good, obviously Michelle and Tony plug too, but talking with them, HMA specifically has they have the list and lock, which is helpful if you're on the listing side, if you're selling your home, but then also being able to lock a rate in basically for potential buyers. That's huge. And then the rate rebound is a big deal because right now today, and I'm jumping ahead, but that's okay. Rates are locked in. They are currently showing 6.74% for a 30-year fixed rate conventional loan. That is lower than it's been. We're sub 7. And, if for some reason you bought tomorrow, and your rate was above 6.6, and within the next year, I think it's within the next 5 years, and I will fact check that and let everybody know if I'm wrong. HMA will do what's called rate rebound, where they will refinance you without charging you all the fees that a refinance would cost you, just for doing the loan with them. So it's basically saying, it might be a little bit of a higher payment now, but when that rate comes down, we'll go ahead and refi for you, and you don't have to worry about it.
Which is awesome because you're getting the both of benefits. Like you're buying when the prices are maybe lower or sellers are willing to work with you more. Less competition.
In a few months, that won't be the case.
Exactly, and in a few months, it won't be quite like that. So you can buy now when there's opportunity, refinance later for free, basically.
Which is, that's a huge deal with when rate is your focus. That's a big deal to put that in front.
Right.
Some additional numbers for everybody. Average days in the MLS took a jump in December, substantially. So we've been seeing them creep up over the year. We talked about
Right.
it kind of every market update, how they've kind of crept up a little bit. And they were at 38 days in November, if we recall from all you loyal listeners. December, they were at 46 days. That's a 21% increase. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, it's not a negative sign. It's just something that's so different there again that people aren't used to still.
Well, it probably means like those sellers that have been on the market for, like, if you look, it's an average number. So there might have been some of those houses that have been on the market for half a year. You don't know. And then when they finally like got a contract under, they were both willing to get to the closing table. And so you have those numbers kind of balancing out where you have like half a year on market versus maybe like 2 weeks or whatnot.
I did see a home in Arvada, and I don't remember the address, and I wouldn't say it if I did, but it's over 400 days on the market.
Yeah.
So there are those that are skewing the number on kind of
Right.
the extreme side too.
Right.
And I also think there's ones where they take
are
less than a
going-
weekend
Right.
to go under contract, which is great for them. So I think you're right. I think it's still, obviously it's an average, so it's going to play that way. But for that to tick up that much as an average actually says
That
more
is yeah.
about how the market is kind of trafficking right now. But we know that from seasonality too. We talked
Right.
about that a lot. So 46 days on average for detached homes, single family homes, 45 as far as attached multifamily type things. So that's a substantial increase. There were 4,971 active listings at the end of December. That's down from November's month's end substantially. November's month's end was 6,684. So that's nearly 2,000 less. But up overall from December of last year with at about 4.5%, which means, more people decided to list this past December than the year before. Number of closed homes in December was 2,620. That's down 7.65% from November and down 9.3% from December previous. That's also a big number.
Right.
Way fewer closings
Yeah.
this past December than in 22. That's a big deal. That speaks to people's motivation, I think. There were 1,725 new listings in the month of December, which is a 36.5% decrease from November. That's
Which
seasonality.
makes sense. Yeah. People are probably waiting till the new year.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about that because Nico actually brought something cool up right before we started recording about people enlisting in January and all that. Average close to list price was 99.25%, so still hitting the mark pretty much for folks as far as what they're paying versus what they're listing at. And I mentioned the rate hovering around that 6.75%, which is a nice number to be looking at right now, I'd say. My last number I want to bring up is there were 831 withdrawn homes in December. So I want to talk about that a little bit more when we get to talking about sellers and what it means to withdraw your home from the market. We always say this, your situation is unique to you. You have to do what's right for you. But there are some cautions I would give to people that are withdrawing and listing and doing kind of going back and forth.
Right, you have to look at your options.
Yeah.
But because we mentioned that number in the last month's market update, and it just was an interesting number, I think, to look at is how many homes had been withdrawn just in the last couple months, kind of waiting.
Yeah,
I feel like to relist.
Withdrawn, for those of you that don't know, means that they've had it listed on the market. They obviously haven't gotten the traffic they wanted. They didn't get a contract on it. And so they've, instead of, doing anything else with it, reducing price or whatever, they've decided just to pull it off the market.
Right.
Is what that is. We call it withdraw. So
Yeah. And I just think it's an important number, too, to mention just because of it kind of ties in with the active listings as
absolutely.
well.
Absolutely.
So that might be why there's fewer.
Yep. And that makes sense, too.
Yeah, so I guess just diving in a little bit, what does this mean for buyers out there? Right now with the slowdown of market activity, I feel like over the last few months, as shown in the average days on market with being at 46, and then also with interest rates being lower than they've been since May of 2023, and they're expected to drop lower as well, I really think right now is a great time to buy. You have kind of the best of both worlds where it's a little bit of a lower price for the house, and sellers are still willing to work with you. They'll buy down your rate. They'll help you with that. You're not necessarily competing against so many other buyers. I think it's a great time to just get out there.
Please listen to this woman. She knows what she's saying. This is such good advice.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Truthfully, I mean, like it's hard to see the future, obviously, but seasonality would say that you're going to face higher prices, more competition in less than 4 months.
Right. If you wait till spring, wait for price or the interest rates to continue to drop, you're going to find yourself, I think, in the market frenzy that we've been seeing, where there might be multiple offers on the house you like, or, when prices going, or the home's going for higher than list price as well.
And I think there's a pent up, people say this a lot, but
everyone's waiting. It seems like people waiting. That I talk to are waiting.
And
yeah,
they're pent up, and they're going to get to a point where they're like, all right, let's go. But they are going to have the same idea as so many other people at the same time.
Exactly.
It's just, I don't know. It's, if you want to be that person who looks savvy in the market, you'd be shopping right now.
Yeah. I mean, at least, and this is, I guess, my last piece of advice for buyers right now, at least if you're thinking of buying in the next year, get a jump start. Like, talk to a lender, get pre-approved, find out what your numbers are so that you know. Get set up on an MLS search so you're getting the listings, and that way, when you're ready, then you can be ahead of the game before it gets too late.
You don't want stumbling blocks if you're that motivated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and even if it's like you're like, oh, I want to buy in May. Well, okay, let's get you started. Look at things and see what's happening.
Yep.
Just pay very close attention to your local markets. And talk to your real estate agents because we know what's going on.
AKA call Nicole, because obviously her advice is right. Yeah. She knows what she's talking about. Call us, please.
Yeah. That's my advice.
On the sell side, I mean, it's going to be a lot of the same kind of thought process, and it all stems. Yeah, it all stems from that fact that the selling season is spring. Starting late March, mid to late March, basically after spring breaks happen. Somehow, some way, something in our reptilian brains say, "All right, everybody, go shop for a house now."
It's crazy.
I don't get it, but it exists.
Everyone goes at the same time. Yeah, yeah.
I took a long time. I took a long time
it's like
thinking
Black
about
Friday sale. Sorry.
No, you're right. It's exactly what it is. It's like, hit the button. Let's go. I took a long time thinking about how to craft this sentence, and I think this is my favorite word for it. Right now is a juicy time to put your home on the market. You guys should have seen the look Nico just gave me when I said that. I did say juicy. I did. I worked 2 open houses this weekend. There is a gigantic opportunity to capture buyers who are doing the thing we just talked about. There are buyers who have been advised, get out there now. Yep. And they exist. And truthfully, if you are doing that, you are going to face less competition. So as a seller, I want my property in front of those people because they're obviously motivated. So they're likely to get things done. Obviously, anything can happen, but it's better to get in front of those people now.
That's a great point.
And wait for the frenzy because, yes, you may get the bidding war. Yes, you may get the higher price and all that stuff, which is fine. If that makes sense for you, do that. But you are up against so many other properties at that time as well.
I think those houses that have been withdrawing in the last few months are going to put those back on. I don't know what month, but yes, more competition.
Yep. And we talked about listings and how those withdrawals happen and all that stuff. So there's a access that real estate agents have that the people of the iBuyer world maybe don't have, and that's the coming soon listings. We can see those on the MLS, and we can put our own listings up as coming soon as well. So you can see those basically before they're actively able to be shown, but you can still flip through the pictures, look at all the details, so you know what you're getting into, so you can set that showing ahead of time. So it's a nice way to get a jump start on it, and it's something Nico does pretty much every week where he looks at those coming soons. And I think he said in December it was around that 80-ish range, all of Denver Metro. So 11 counties. Am I making that up? Yeah. 7 counties? 7 counties. So a good footprint of the Denver Metro area, 80-ish coming soon listings in December, jumped to over 130 in January. So everyone was, quote, waiting to list after the new year. Well, the longer you wait, the more competition you're going to have as a seller as well. Your property is going to be up against however many others. So it's worth noting that that's something you will be up against as well.
The boulder's just starting to roll.
Yep, that's right. And that's the comparison Nico made, which made so much sense in my brain, was the idea of Indiana Jones running away from that boulder. Like, the longer you wait, the faster that boulder's going to be moving and the more speed it's going to pick up. So truthfully, you actually are running a risk the longer you try to run away from it. I did put a note in here about if you are getting ready to list and you're working with an agent who is worth their salt, have a little bit of thick skin. And I say that with the utmost of love and respect for anybody that's looking to sell their home. But there are going to be things about your home that might not make it appealing to the consumer. So this is kind of a general rule, but right now it's really important to make your home as marketable as possible. Put your best foot forward. If somebody says you can't have that, that photo of the family that's a like 8 by 10 foot oil painting over the fireplace, you're gonna have to take that down before we put it on the market.
That's a good point.
Don't be offended. It's not you, it's that we want to make it marketable to the public. So that's where your agent is going to advise you honestly, hopefully, and it's not meant to hurt your feelings, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I think that's a good point.
Might also be a good time to take down Christmas decorations.
Also true.
Oh, well, I'm not selling, so right now
Okay,
I
good.
still
I was
have
gonna
mine
say,
up.
Guilty. Oh, they're still up. They're still
I'm
up.
probably going to keep mine until
The rule is
February.
up to the beginning of the stock show, right? Isn't that the rule?
I thought it was till like Easter.
No, it's not. Until
The resurrection. Then the
Well-
yeah, that's exactly it. Obviously, it's all in the Bible.
I just keep watering my tree. It's still living. It's fine.
Yeah, you have real reason because you went and got that thing.
Yeah,
you have reason to
leave
keep
it
them
up
up.
year round.
100%.
Just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Last couple thoughts. We've gone off the rails. I lost it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, get rid of the Christmas decorations if you
No.
are going to sell.
Okay,
your
that's
house.
fair. That's fair.
Okay.
And then last couple thoughts. I mean, I talk about this. We talk about this almost every single market update, but be super strategic and thoughtful about the price you're entering the market at.
Yeah.
Now you are, maybe not competing against as many people, but price reductions always carry the same stigma. And you're better off being able to price it as close to market value, if not just a smidge under, compared to really, thinking, well, I need to get X for my house. Well, if you need to get that, I understand, but also it may not be the realistic market value of your home. So there's got to be that give and take there a little bit. And you got to be real careful about pricing that because homes may sit, but make sure that you're doing everything you can to make it that it's sitting because there's fewer buyers on the market.
Right.
Don't sit because the price is too high. Don't sit because you didn't take down your Christmas decorations. Do right by listing your home, and that's where that trusted agent is really going to come into play and hopefully advise you down the right path. And obviously, nobody's perfect. Nobody knows the future. But if you can try together as a team, you and your agent, to get there, I think you guys will make the way, And
Great.
one of my last thoughts is we talked about withdrawals. And I'm glad that we brought it up because there is a thing that happens if you do that. Some people, I've talked to somebody actually recently that said, what I'll do is I'll list my property beginning of January. And if it doesn't sell by the end of January, I'll just withdraw it and I'll put it back on in April. I was like, okay. Their thought process is there. They want to catch that spring market. A couple things happen when you withdraw your property from the market. Number one, you have to wait at least 30 days before you can list it again. That's a law. That's a rule. But the bigger thing, and probably the more annoying thing, is that there are countless agents that are in the market as real estate agents that prey on withdrawn listings.
Right.
It's their business model. They wait for one to go withdrawn. They check them every day. They pick up the phone. They call them. Hey, I just saw that you pulled your house off the market. I want to talk to you about what went wrong. I wanted to see what happened there. I want to see if I could help. And good for them for getting out there and hustling. Mm-hmm. But if you are a seller, you're going to take your information is public knowledge, and they will reach out to you in droves.
Yes,
and
that's a very good point.
So it's better to avoid it. If for some reason you need to list now in January, like I said before, it's okay to list now and have less traffic if you've done everything else. If you've made your home show ready, if you've priced it to the best of your ability to be close to market value, and the traffic's just not there, it's okay to list it and let it sit and hopefully gain some traction as the year goes on versus pull it and put it on again in a few months. Some people can do that too, but you just know that you're going to get hit with a lot of phone calls, and it's real obnoxious, and it feels real salesy, and it gets old. So
that record stays in the MLS also.
It does. You
And
can
so
still
when people
see
go back
it.
and look at the listing history, they're like, what went wrong there?
yes. Oh man.
And it kind of puts a little bit of a red flag in that.
Well, it's almost the first
It
question
does.
I will ask as a buyer's agent. Hey, I saw that you guys were listed, 6 months ago, but then you withdrew. Anything you can tell me about what happened there?
Yeah.
I mean, I asked that question, so
Yeah.
most people are thinking that.
The days on market reset though after the 30 days.
They do.
Correct? Yeah.
They do,
So
yeah.
that is, but you can still go in there as agents. We can go in there and look at the history and see that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it is
this was
important to
only
know.
on, 40 days ago. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Unless you
And then
see
you
like,
look back and it was like on for a year or something
Yeah.
before then.
or you can see it goes
You
away
can
for
see.
40 days and then it comes back on. It's got a fresh coat of paint. It's got a new roof. It's got new landscaping. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's why.
That's a good point.
Sometimes that's the case too. So I'm not begrudging the people that do that.
Sure,
It's just,
they got some feedback, and they're like, you know what?
let's do the work.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it just depends. Just know that's no matter what. If you're pulling it off the market to do work, or if you're pulling it off the market to wait, you're going to get those phone calls. I promise. So just be ready. Have your guard up. Be
Yeah.
ready to fight them off. And I think that kind of wraps it for us.
Yeah.
So I mean, as always, we appreciate you guys listening. I know we talk a lot. We talk a lot about different random stuff, but the best part is drinking beer and shooting the breeze about real estate with these two fine people in this room and with all of you listening. So,
Yeah.
I would like to commit to one New Year's resolution for Brewskis and Housekeys.
Okay.
That is an off-site recording this year.
Okay.
the gauntlet has been thrown.
Yeah, on live on camera.
Let's do this.
So
Well, he can cut it if we,
We
Yeah,
gotta
no.
find us a nice brewery to do
Okay.
an on-location recording.
Deal.
Deal. That's
Whether
good
you
New
guys
Year's
have your
resolution.
own particular person that you can contact, but let's get that done for our audience.
I feel like we could pull that off. In fact,
Because
Yes.
we've been threatening it all year.
we have.
We
We
have.
have. We're gonna
made it
find a
on
way.
site. We're gonna find a good one.
I'll make it happen.
I love
Well,
that.
there you go. That's
The
our
true
New Year's
motivator.
resolution
Even if we
for
throw the green
brewskis
screen.
and housekeys.
Look where we are.
No,
Man.
no.
Woo, that was a long drive.
Live on.
It'd be
we
way
have
better
to
to
do
be
it on
there.
site.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
What a
deal.
great idea. I love that. Let's do it. You heard it here, folks. In the meantime, Mountain Toad, you crushed it. We
Well
appreciate you. Hopefully you're listening, Jeff, and anybody else. And for those of you listening that are loyal listeners, thank you. We love you. We've been over a year doing this at this point, and we wouldn't be doing it if you guys weren't listening. So we appreciate it. Tell a friend. That helps a lot. We'd love to get more subscribers. I actually learned something about this in the downtime over the holidays. The more subscribers we get, the higher up on the little list, search list we get on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So even if your friends aren't going to listen every single week or whatever it is,
Just
have them
like it.
subscribe anyway
Please.
because it helps the podcast and helps us get out to reach more people. So we'd love to do that. And then otherwise, send your feedback. Reach out to us on Instagram. Our little things will be up here or have been up here or might be up here right now. So reach out to us and say hey too if you liked an episode or whatever it is. And I told James, our loyal listener,
Yep.
my dear friend James,
Yep.
that I would give him a shout out on this episode. And it's
Give
strictly because I shouted out he and I's mutual friend Bob on a previous episode, Bob Carney, who I talked about, and he got really mad. So
Have you not mentioned him yet?
I think I
feel
have,
like
but he
you've
says I
given-
haven't. So
okay.
James, just in case, I love you, buddy. And we love you and we appreciate you listening.
Thanks, James.
And we'll make sure that we have you on sometime just to, talk your 2 cents about real estate too someday. In the meantime, as always, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Cheers.
Cheers.